And it appears we are live. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the 21st of August, 2023. What's up to everybody in the chat? We have a lot of ground to cover this morning. Trump is going to be surrendering himself at an Atlanta jail by Friday. We're going to look at that article. We're going to look at hurricane/tropical storm Hillary. We're going to talk about COVID 2.0 because I've been getting a lot of contact over that. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Practical, tactical, what can you do? What should you do? My opinion, of course. And then global war. I have a thought. I have a word on what's happening in Ukraine. I'll be sharing that with you as well. Now, of course, this is YouTube, so please do the YouTube things. 40% of the people who watch this show are not subscribed. Why? Subscribe. Ring the little bell icon. Don't just lurk in the shadows, man. That's weird. If you're subscribed, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love, especially today's show. I think there's going to be a lot of meat in here today. And, of course, leave a comment to combat the YouTube algorithmic robots. The show is brought to you by refugemedical.com. I'm the founder and CEO of refugemedical.com. 85 lives saved to date from my barn to 4 continents with all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces electively in 4 years. So America may be in the gutter, but we still get to do awesome things like this. Now, we are going to talk about the brief, beginning with from RTRussiaToday.com. Trump will surrender at Atlanta jail by Friday. The former U.S. president and 18 co-defendants are accused of attempting to overturn the 2020 election results. What's interesting to this, as always, is remember how communism works. You accuse the other guy of doing exactly what you're doing. Remember Hillary and Russian collusion was the accusation against the Trump presidency and Trump candidacy, when in fact she fabricated the Steele dossier and got over 50 people from the United States intelligence networks to sign off on it and collude with it. Yeah, right. You accuse the other side of doing exactly what you're doing. So it's interesting that Trump is being accused of attempting to overturn the 2020 election results, when we all know Dominion and 10,000 mules, it wasn't the Trump presidency that was involved in that. And make no mistake, I'm not a Trump fanboy. Never have been. I don't like politics, but I do like justice, and I like truth, and I like integrity. To the article here, former U.S. President Donald Trump, charged with racketeering and 12 other felonies in the state of Georgia, is expected to appear for booking at the Fulton County Jail on Thursday or Friday, an unnamed law enforcement official familiar with the case told CNN. Well, that person should have their creds pulled immediately. But okay. Also, these are charges at the state level in Georgia. So even if Trump gets elected to president, he can't pardon himself of state charges. He would need the governor of Georgia to do that. District Attorney Fani Willis unsealed the 41-count indictment against Trump and the 18 co-defendants last Monday, setting an August 25th deadline for their surrender. However, the exact timing of Trump's appearance remains unclear. CNN acknowledged as negotiations between his lawyer and prosecutors could drag on beyond the deadline. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office said Trump and other defendants could appear at the jail in Atlanta to turn themselves in at any time. Quote, at this point, based on guidance received from the district attorney's office and presiding judge, it is expected that all 19 defendants named in the indictment will be booked at the Rice Street Jail, the sheriff's office said in a statement, pointing out that the facility is open 24/7. Now, there's more to this article, but I don't really care about it. What I find interesting is that there's a time and location set for where Trump and 18 other co-defendants are expected to appear or probably face further charges. And the first thing that came to mind is, they're all going to be in the same place at the same time, right? Because, Epstein didn't kill himself. The other side, if we will, is really good at getting to people inside of the penal system. Y'all forbid something like that happens. The Rice Street Jail in Atlanta. 14 seconds of OSINT with Google Earth. I now know exactly where that is. What a shame if a mostly peaceful protest was to break out and the building accidentally got set on fire or something like that. And that's the end of the brief. Now, but I bring that up because of, in light of COVID 2.0 and possible global war / civil war 2.0. Exactly, RL, gas leak. Remember the air quote water main that broke inside of that building? I believe it was in Georgia where all the ballots were stored. Remember that? Because, accidents happen, right? To the brief, the written brief, let's talk about Hillary. Life-threatening weather phenomena occurred throughout the U.S. on Sunday, and it's not over yet. First and foremost, Tropical Storm Hillary, currently impacting Southern California, is expected to be, quote, historic. It is anticipated that it will be the wettest tropical cyclone on record to affect Nevada, Idaho, and Oregon, and it will be the first of its kind to hit Southern California in 84 years. Thankfully, what was once a Cat 4 hurricane has weakened to a tropical storm, but it's still expected to create catastrophic conditions for various areas throughout Monday. The good news is FEMA has already decided that anybody that's killed by this storm will officially be ruled a suicide. Heavy rainfall is expected to create life-threatening oh, you got it, huh? You got it.
I was laughing earlier when you said Hillary, the life-threatening weather phenomenon.
Yeah, you got it. Heavy rainfall is expected to create life-threatening flooding, and since much of it will fall before and during nightfall, the low visibility will create additional risks for travelers. In fact, the storm has already suicided one person who was washed away in their vehicle in Mexico. Oh, that's the wrong side of the border. It doesn't count, according to U.S. statistics. The flood risks reach beyond Southern California into Oregon and Idaho. Combined with high winds, mudslides, uprooted trees, landslides, and power outages are expected. Even tornadoes are possible. Southern California Edison, the electric utility that powers over 15 million people, has warned its customers to prepare flashlights, external battery chargers, and ice chests. The National Hurricane Center said that a, quote, potentially historic amount of rainfall, end quote, could create, quote, life-threatening to locally catastrophic flooding. Life-threatening to locally catastrophic flooding, end quote. In anticipation of extensive damage, multiple residential areas have been evacuated. What a shame if they were to catch on fire, and California's Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency. There's a lot of people talking about on the social medias how curious it is that during Pandemic 1.0, there wasn't a whole lot of catastrophic natural weather phenomenon. But now that allegedly Pandemic 1.0 is over, all these strange things seem to be happening. It's almost like the earth is trying to kill us. It's almost as if like a group of maniacal scientists are somehow altering the weather to fit the narrative of climate change. Interesting. Curious for sure. Also in the Northwest, wildfire smoke is choking out in what is now a hazy orange sky. In Washington, 200 structures have been burned to the ground in an 11,000-acre fire in Spokane County. That's in addition to a separate fire in the same county that has consumed more than 8,000 acres already. The resulting low visibility has prompted authorities to close portions of Interstate 90 due to safety concerns, and a state of emergency has been issued for Washington. For all you I'm never bugging out people, say that when the fire is 50 yards from your front door. Just saying. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. There are things that will make you bug out, and some of those things might be the fire marshal saying you will get out of your house right now. I'm not prepared to leave. Guess you should have put a bag together the 300 previous times that Bear said you are bugging out sooner or later. It's just a matter of time and circumstance. Moving away from the Northwest, deeper into the lower 48, extreme heat is baking homes across 18 different states from Texas to Wisconsin. Don't let the cheese spoil. Don't let the cheese spoil. In fact, multiple high temperature records are expected to be broken across several states as triple-digit temps sear their way across the country. In total, over 102 million residents are under heat alerts currently, myself being one of them. What kind of stress do you think that is going to induce on the national electrical grid? Just throwing that out there. Are we going to have mostly peaceful grid failures? Is that what we're going to have? Free and fair transformer explosions? Just wondering. It's going to be bad. I don't want the grid to fail at all. But if it does fail, that's something that you need to be aware of the possibility of, right? Why do we even have the lights on? What is going on right now?
Yeah.
It's your fault?
No, it was still on.
You did this?
It was our fault yesterday.
Hit the lights. Thank you. The bunker was used yesterday. Ugh. Pilgrim Prepper said, my mini grid is ready. Exactly. HVAC Homestead, love this heat. Oof. Well, you're an HVAC guy, clearly, so you're probably not a little right in the head. You're like, it's 110 degrees outside. Let's get in the attic and run some duct work. Yeah, he probably is. He's just printing money right now. Hey, buddy, get it while you can. I'm 100% on board with stock up while you can, which is what we're going to talk about next once I finish reading this paperwork. In other news, and this is really interesting. The Dance Monkeys included this. I believe in the email that they sent to me, they said, we're including this like that extra packet of jam that you get at Waffle House so that you can be a pancake princess, was their exact words. So for all you pancake princesses out there, if you have a bug out location to get to, should we prepare a bug out bag from there too? Matt Drake, that's a great question. What you should do is have as much of the stuff that you need at that bug out location as possible so that you can perform replenishment if needed on your man portable system, aka your bug out bag. So whatever your consumables are on said bug out bag, food, water, fire making, perhaps, batteries, things of that nature. Bug out Bob. We're talking about bug out bags, and it's almost like you got a message or something.
Dude, I was listening. I waited the whole time until you started talking about back out. I was like, that's my time.
Does your shirt say I love hot tattooed moms?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I got it from my wife.
You got it for your wife or from your wife?
For my wife.
For your wife.
Yes, to remind her that I love her.
She loves hot tattooed moms?
No, she is a hot tattooed
Okay,
mom.
she is a hot tattooed mom. Okay.
So I bought it for her to know. Hey, I'm digging with
Track
you.
it. Is it just a little external positive reinforcement?
Just a little like, hey, get another tattoo, stay hot.
In other news, the platform Zoom, this is really important for everybody who uses Zoom, has changed its terms of service in response to the recent online outrage. If you're not tracking, there is outrage over Zoom. Originally, Zoom had wanted to control customer data for AI training purposes. To make a long story very, very short, it wanted to have unfettered access to everything on its platform. After the immense concern and outcry over things like attorney-client privilege, HIPAA, and more, now the company claims it does not train AI on consumer content, quote, without consumer consent, end quote. The terms of service still seem to allow possible loopholes for Zoom to use your call despite their apparent promises not to do it. As you click through the terms and conditions to use Zoom, you will be agreeing to Zoom's, quote, perpetual, worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license and all other rights. Now added to this line, quote, notwithstanding the above, Zoom will not use audio, video, or chat customer content to train our artificial intelligence models without your consent. All right. Good news. You check the little box. You have your consent. All right. Additionally, if you are one of those awesome people that has signed up on the email news blast from grindstoneministries.com or calebhouse.org, you need to watch your email from Grindstone and from Caleb House, keep an eye out. We have something really, really big coming on Wednesday. We're going to need your help. I can't tell you exactly what it is yet, but Wednesday morning, watch your inbox and watch the brief. We got some big things coming for Caleb House. I'm going to need your help. Okay? Okay, Bear. All right, good talk, everybody. Now, a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. Minor things like Pandemic 2.0, global warfare, and possibly Civil War 2.0. Just little tiny things that in no way affect any of us. The first thing, I realized this yesterday. I was doing some thinking, which is rare for me. You know, the war in Ukraine, like we're being told, and if you've ever done, S2 Underground just did a pretty good video on this, talking about battle tracking and the difficulty of battle tracking with what's happening in Ukraine, because it's all based on OSINT, and the OSINT is heavily altered, is the word I'll use, because they don't want to report their exact troop positions, because then artillery shells be landing on their foreheads. So the difficulty with battle tracking, he was talking about that. I was listening to that on the drive yesterday, and it got me to thinking. We're being told the counteroffensive in Ukraine is not going the way that they want it to go, right? Additionally, we've seen Russia slow rolling through Ukraine for myriad reasons. A lack of fuel, a lack of logistics, a lack of ammunition, a lack of personnel, mud, weather, blah blah blah, right? And then Ukraine, we're going to fight back and take this country back. And I'm not saying that warfare isn't incredibly difficult. I am saying that I believe that the war in Ukraine is going exactly the way the big they want it to go. And here's my proof of that. Here's my supposition. If it wasn't going exactly the way they want it to go, why are they still funding it? They are still funding it with your taxpayer dollars. Andy Frisella made a comment on one of his recent podcasts, the Real AF podcast. Don't be a hoe, share the show. Talking about if you had taken every single person in Lahaina and gave each person in Lahaina $5 million, we will have spent 1/3 the amount of money we've spent on Ukraine thus far that we know about. Yet and still, the war in Ukraine is still being funded. Why is it being funded? Because the big they want to fund it. Why? Because it has the potential and probably will be used to drag the world into another world war. And for all the reasons they love world war. First of all, it kills our most patriotic men. There's the first thing. Second of all, it reduces the population, not just immediately because people be dying, but also as a follow-on effect, there's fewer babies that are born because there's fewer men that are around. It also, Hegelian dialectic, allows them to fund both sides of the conflict, which they do. And then it doesn't matter who loses and who wins because they're getting repaid anyway. And it allows for, per the report from Iron Mountain, large unattainable goals, right? Worldwide conflict. And we all know military-industrial complex, war is good for business. And so it just got me to thinking, regardless of what we're told, right? Because words are cheap. Watch what people do. Regardless of what we're told, the war in Ukraine must be going precisely the way they want it to go. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep spending money on it. We've seen this when the usefulness of the global war on terror wore out. We left that fast under Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. We left hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth of equipment just laying around. We're out. We left our own people there because that war no longer served our purposes. So the war in Ukraine is going exactly how they want it to go. If it wasn't, they wouldn't keep funding it. Just throwing that out there. The next thing, minor thing, COVID 2.0. And potential civil unrest resulting from it. This is rumored, but man, there is a lot of chatter out there right now, and I'm being contacted with a lot of it. There are a lot of people, you know, a friend of mine, it doesn't matter who, sent me an image of a text conversation that he was having with somebody. Somebody contacted him and said, "Hey, my mom works for XYZ testing company, and they have been told that there is absolutely a new strain of COVID coming and that it's going to be way worse than the previous one. And they're being told to spin up production of their test kits now." Okay, that's a data point. Just your standard OSINT, Facebook. Look at Facebook chatter. And yes, 98% of it is useless drivel, but 2% of it, there's some nuggets in there. There are people who are starting to come down with COVID again now. For those who are unaware, it's the end of August, right? When is flu season? It's going to be in the fall. So there's more and more and more and more of that chatter coming. I want to talk about this a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with stocking up now, getting your poop in a group now for another potential, air quote, deadly pandemic. Because we know from the last time, what you wanted wasn't necessarily what you could get, right? If you were allowed to go to the store didn't always have what you wanted. And here's the thing. Again, Mr. Frizella at He Who Champions and Pilots First Form and has the Real AF podcast and Arte Syndicate, among other things, has talked about, and I think it's a good supposition. What if the pandemic this time is actually really deadly? And all the people who wouldn't mask up last time, and all the people who wouldn't get jabbed, and all the people who resisted medical tyranny are now blamed by the sheeple for allowing this to happen again. And what if it's actually deadly? There's a lot of chatter that this next variant will target children. And now you go from being a grandma killer to a baby killer. I don't know because I don't have any hard data yet, but there's something in my gut that's telling me that they're going to try and pull this shit again. They may not, as my pastor likes to say. This isn't me preaching. This is just me talking. This isn't me preaching, but my gut says they're going to try and pull this shit again. And in the best way I've ever heard intuition explained is it's when your brain knows something based upon data it's taken in that your mouth can't articulate yet. And so of all the indicators that I've seen thus far, I feel like my gut says, I can't explain it yet. I feel like they're going to do this again, and it's going to be worse than the first time. What if it's actually deadly this time? What if it's not just the flu? What if it's actually deadly this time? Are you prepared to stay home indefinitely? Indefinitely. If the answer to that is no, I would suggest today is a great day to begin the process of being adequately prepared to stay home indefinitely. Now, speaking of indefinitely, what happens to the elections? We know the last election was stolen in large part due to Plandemic 1.0. And now we have literally a senile pedophile. Now, remember, the last candidate that was elected from said party was a homosexual with a transgender wife. Yeah, with a crack addiction. Yeah. And then this time, instead of getting mass suicide Hillary, we got a pedophilic ice cream grandpa. Most popular president in history, 81 million votes, even though there were only 12 people at his rallies, even though nobody wanted him then and nobody wants him now. Selected, not elected. Dovetailing into Trump has to surrender in Atlanta by Friday, and him and 18 co-conspirators, co-defendants, are going to be booked at the Rice Street Jail in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, now we know where all 19 of those people are and when they're going to be there, don't we? So what options do you have? Let's say, hypothetically, they start Plandemic 2.0 because Biden is in collusion with China. We all know this. Biden is in collusion with Ukraine. We all know this. 10% for the big guy. And this is the final straw that breaks the camel's back of the United States economy, asymmetric warfare with China, and depopulation. And you don't have a choice who you want to vote for in 2024 because the guy you want to vote for is either locked up or there was some catastrophic event that happened at the Rice Street Jail and all 19 of those people burnt up in their cells or accidentally got shivved or somehow hung themselves or have been extradited to insert location here to stand trial for these charges, some of which they're pushing for, the big they are pushing for the death penalty on. Tell me that's not going to exacerbate civil unrest here to the point of potentially Civil War 2.0. Now we're getting into Oliver Anthony territory of the rich men north of Richmond. People are not going to stand for that shit, nor should they stand for that shit. And that dovetails into why the ATF wants to, no AR pistols and forced reset triggers and all that. Yeah, because there could very well be a war coming here on our soil. So I don't know what's coming, but in my gut, it feels like this is one of the plays that they're trying to make. And I want to remind every one of you to exercise your no muscle when it comes to government tyranny, when it comes to medical tyranny. No more medical experimentation. No more essential workers only. No more masks on kids and plexiglass and reduced freedom or eliminated freedom of movement. No more financial banking bullshit. No more rigged elections. No more. You didn't get to tell me what to do before Pandemic 1.0. You didn't get to tell me what to do during Pandemic 1.0. You still don't get to tell me what to do now, and you don't get to tell me what to do when they make that happen as well. And so just a friendly reminder to everybody out there, don't fall for the bullshit. Also, don't lose your ever-loving mind. This is not permission to light your hair on fire and run around in a circle screaming. The prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. If you foresee it, you see it coming. Distance and time are related to one another. The further away from the problem you are, the more time you have to deal with it. But the scale of the problem or the scale of the potential problem necessitates the amount of work you have to do now while you still have time to be able to deal with that problem when it happens. We're only talking about maintaining America to the best of our ability. We're only talking about maintaining your life to the best of your ability. This is where resilience comes into play. And so you don't have my permission to freak out, but you do have my encouragement to continue to build your resilience, because if they pull this bullshit again, there are so many people who are awake now to this tyrannical bullshit here in the United States of America that it is entirely possible we see balkanization of the United States. It's entirely possible that we have hot, small-scale conflict in the streets again. It could get bad. Remember when Prigozhin took Wagner and was headed towards Moscow? What happens when that's not Prigozhin? When it's some currently nameless, faceless leader in the United States who stands up and goes, "That's it, I've had enough. We're going north of Richmond." Then what? We're already a pseudo-banana republic. Now what happens? Yep. That is...
That's the length of Bob's brain.
It's just Bob was reading email.
It sat there in the short term going, this is funny, you should listen.
That is the brief for today. like I said, there's a lot of meat in this one today. I can't encourage you more strongly to stock up while you can. And again, do not use this as an excuse for you to get all spun up and emotional and make rash decisions. The prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. I think evil's coming. I don't think they got everything they wanted with Plandemic 1.0, and they're going to run the same play again. And I think it's going to be potentially bad this time around. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to, a year from now, get on here and go, guys, I was wrong. And if I am wrong, I will tell you I was wrong. I was one of the people who said that the Russians would be celebrating in Kyiv a week after they invaded Ukraine. And I was dead wrong about that. Happy to admit it. I hope I'm wrong about this too. But at least right now, it doesn't feel like I am. Please share the show. Like I said, there's a lot of meat in this one. Send this to somebody you think needs to see it. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to discuss the value exchange, this is your polite invitation to beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. For everybody else, links in the description to all this stuff. Patreon.com, $10 per month prepper consultancy. It's the best $10 you can spend on the internet. I can't understand why it wouldn't be worth a $10 investment to have access to a whole bunch of exclusive content directly related to your questions about how to be more prepared for when this bullshit happens. Links in the description. The kit of the week this week from refugemedical.com are the Origin Hunt Kits. See that right there? Yeah. Badass. Badass. Look. See that? See that right there? Origin. You can use code HUNT23, HUNT23, and you can get a significant amount off of this kit, which is the Western kit, and the Whitetail kit, which is a smaller the back kit. And I want to show you something. This is the Bearfact 3.0. It looks very similar to this Origin kit, doesn't it? It does. How astute of you. Except with this one, when you pop this open, not only do I have a legit real Cat Gen 7 tourniquet and a real pair of shears on the outside here, held in place with this little tab right here, which we affectionately call the shart. Yeah. See this here? This is a turd right here. This is the tactical utility retention device, the turd, not to be confused with the shart, which is the shears active retention tab right here. Because everything needs an acronym. You pop the lid of this open, and look what I see. A Sawyer mini water filter. And then you pull this out, like so. And what do I see? Pop this open. Look, fire-making stuff. And trauma medical stuff. So this has all the contents of a Bearfact in it. Right, all of your March algorithm, massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else. This has everything that's in a Bearfact, plus fire making and water filtration. That if you're on a hunt and the hunt goes bad, you've got, and you couple this with your cool guy knife that you have, and you're wearing appropriate clothing, you should not die. And that's the whole point of these kits, to not die. All right, so we've got the Origin kits that are in this banging Origin Raptor camo. There's I forget the exact names to it, but there's this pattern and then also the Highland pattern that's more tannish. So check that out. When those are gone, they're gone. The promo code for that is HUNT23 if you want a significant amount off. Also, if you're on Patreon, make sure to use your promo code. You know, if you intend to buy something from Refuge Medical anyway, you could join Patreon, use your promo code, and essentially get Patreon for free because of the money that you saved using your Patreon promo code. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the Origin Hunt Kits, check those out. What else should we talk about from Refuge? How about an SOB? This is the SOB kit. Look at how little this thing is. This weighs as much as one loaded AR-15 magazine for your war belt, your plate carrier, your chest rig, your rucksack, your headrest, your wherever. Got a cat tourniquet on the bottom right here. Pop this open, grab the red handle, pull. What's in this cute little pocket right here? Everything. Sharpie, gloves, wound packing gauze, quick clot combat gauze right here. See that? Real combat gauze. Oh, and look, made in the United States, guaranteed forever. 85 lives saved to date. A compact trauma bandage, nasopharyngeal airway, chest seals, duct tape. There you go. So that's the SOB kit. You can find that at refugemedical.com. Everything is HSA and FSA eligible. So, you know, if you have one of those things, I'd use it while you still can before the economy collapses. But your mileage may vary. Refuge training. We've got a couple of class slots left in Boise, Idaho, September 4th and September 6th of this year, coming up very quickly. What's that, like 2 weeks away in Boise, Idaho? So check those out. We have some Pensacola classes, Pensacola, Oklahoma, which is southeastern Oklahoma, coming up here momentarily. So I would encourage you to come to class if you'd like to learn the fine art of how to not die. It's a great time to come to class. Our training staff, the cadre, has been working diligently to upgrade the curriculum, update the curriculum yet again. So if you've taken the class, I don't know, a year ago, guess what? It's even better than it was last time. So you can find all that information at refugetraining.com. And yeah, don't be an ass. Come to class. Learn the fine art of how to not die. I've had way too many people take the class and tell me this is the best class I've ever taken. And not just your standard civilians, like, you know, former action guys, current action guys. Yeah. Civilian TAC med, tactical medical stuff. It's thebomb.com, refugetraining.com. CalebHouse.org. If you watched a movie and got upset about human trafficking and want to actually do something about it, if you want to fund a group of people that operates in the United States of America, not Africa, not Southeast Asia, not the Middle East, not that I have anything against the children over there, but that operates here in the United States of America, that isn't taking your money from here in the United States of America and sending it overseas to do missions over there. You want to support some people that actually rescue kids and restore kids here, CalebHouse.org. Check that out. And then grindstoneministries.com. Again, all the links are in the description. The Caleb House t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies. Our brother Saw's Facts Not Feeling shirt. Our brother Rex's The Real Dope shirt. All of which come from our brothers and sisters at the Sanctified Supply Co. Proceeds from all of that goes to benefit Caleb House Actual, which is our restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors, aka the place where we put kids back together again after they've been serially raped by assholes. Old combat vet. It'll be one thing after another through 2024. They will not relinquish their ill-gotten power. They are willing to burn the country down to over the ashes, to cover the ashes. Some of us think there will be no 2024 elections. Yeah, I'm on the fence on whether or not they will allow 2024 elections. I suppose we'll see, won't we? And again, please watch your emails from Caleb House and Grindstone. We've got something big coming on Wednesday, and I'm going to need your help. I can't tell you exactly what it is yet, but Wednesday morning, watch your email inbox. Watch the brief. It's really, really important to me, and it's going to be really, really, really important to Caleb House. And this is something that we are partnering up on, and I'm going to need your help. Scotty Nux, TJ, you make the best stuff, bro. Keep it up. Thank you. What's up, 12C? Shalom. That's the brief for today. I hope you all have an awesome Monday. Share the show with somebody you love. And yeah, that'll do it for today. Bless y'all. Shalom.